Hey, and welcome back to video number 2. We're going to talk about things that you should avoid doing in terms of using LinkedIn and other roadblocks that you will face. So it's good to get off on the right foot and kind of know what LinkedIn, does not like and what they do like, so that you can be as effective as possible in terms of, building those relationships and through that getting leads and so forth. So let's go ahead and get started here. So you want to have the mindset of quality over quantity. And while that is quite obvious, it's easy to want to do a lot and build a large network and this and that. But you really need to think of quality over quantity. So instead of trying to do a lot of stuff, just do a few things that are right, and you'll begin to see some results. So obviously LinkedIn as a site, they want quality professionals. They don't just want people to join for the purpose of building a huge network. They want people who are serious about finding other professionals. So if you understand that, then you in a way understand what they are expecting from you. Now, obviously, if you go against the grain and you go against LinkedIn and their rules and their regulations, then you're probably going to receive a message that says this: we have recently noticed a large number of page searches and profile views through your LinkedIn account. We are aware that you may be using automated or manual process to systematically view LinkedIn pages. So what that means is basically you're either there's too much activity in your account that it's unusual for the regular person to do. And because of that, and you're trying to game the system and so forth. So they are aware of people that are trying to game the system. Now, a lot of people receive this message even though they are not marketers, they are not people that are trying to game the system. They just get their accounts suspended or canceled or deactivated because they happen to fall into a certain category. So I want to make sure that you get up on the right foot. You may not be aware of these things, so that you definitely want to start out on a right foot. LinkedIn, they don't like accounts that have too much activity. So, think about the regular person probably spends an hour or so on LinkedIn, or an hour or so on Facebook. Now, if you're spending all day on LinkedIn and you're clicking here and there, and there's way too much activity, then LinkedIn might tag you and red flag you and say, oh, this person's unusual. Now, I'm not saying this happens all the time, but a majority of the time you'll find people complaining that, oh, they suspended me because too much activity, because of too different things and so forth. Too much activity, or even getting too many profile views. So you could be sending like traffic, automated traffic or whatever to your LinkedIn profile. So you want to do everything natural, just like you do Google or Facebook. Google traffic, and what they're looking for is they're looking for quality. So the same goes for LinkedIn as well. Different IPs for different profiles. For example, if you create 10 accounts on one IP, then there have been cases where LinkedIn has suspended all those accounts. So you want to make sure you look natural. You want to, protect your back by signing up just one account. You don't need multiple accounts. And another reason of getting this, deactivation or suspension of your account is if you send an invite to somebody and they don't know you, and they click on spam, or they click on like, I don't know this person, and you do this like 3 or more times, then LinkedIn will often suspend your account for that. So you want to make sure that you get quality leads and you actually talk to the person first and so forth. So we'll talk about that in the later videos on how you can grow your network naturally and start conversations and so forth and build relationships from that point. So you definitely want to avoid like Facebook trying to build your network fast and trying to get all, these invites out, because you definitely don't want to do that with LinkedIn. So things to avoid doing. Let me give you an actual list of things that you need to avoid doing. You don't want to send out too many invites to people that you don't know. So unless you make a connection with them first, don't send out invites. And I'm going to actually show you different ways where you don't have to send invites, and you can do specific strategies to get people to, become your friend. Because if too many clicks on the I do not know this person, your account will be suspended. So you definitely want to avoid that. Photo. Use your own personal photo, your face. Do not use a logo and do not use a poor photo. I think professionalism here in LinkedIn. So if you have a profile and somebody looks at your profile and it's not a face, that's what LinkedIn is not looking for. They're not looking for, company logos on profiles and so forth, unless it's like a group or something. Don't send out bulk messages to your LinkedIn connections. There are ways of, getting invites and getting people in your network and so forth. But once they're in your network, don't send out bulk messages to them, because not only are you going to piss them off, but they're going to probably eventually click on spam on your message, and that will red flag LinkedIn. LinkedIn will suspend your account. So just don't do something that you wouldn't normally like receiving. Like, you probably don't like receiving bulk messages, spam, marketing messages, messages about buying a product and so forth, unless it's like a personal invite and so forth. So think quality over quantity. People hate spam. LinkedIn does as well. Don't have multiple accounts. And don't put your telephone number or email address in your public profile. LinkedIn obviously wants people to become your friend first, and then you can communicate with them. Whatever you do within your message box is entirely up to you, depending on the guidelines and so forth. So you can provide that information when you actually talk to the person, and that's it's just better doing that anyways, because you actually grow that relationship as well. Now, I know these rules can be roadblocks for you because you're not necessarily used to so many of these rules and so forth, but you can actually use these rules to your advantage, and let me show you. For example, the rule that says don't send out too many invites to people that you don't know, and don't send bulk messages to your LinkedIn connections. It's all about changing your mindset. If you spam or send anyone a message that they don't want, you lower your quality. And there are ways to do it right without violating LinkedIn rules. For example, sending out invites. You'll be able to do that with recommendations and so forth. So don't send out too many invites. The solution for that is to find people, make a connection, start a conversation, build a relationship with them, and then move from that point on. And another solution is recommendations. By giving people recommendations, they will basically become your friend and so forth. Now, how do you give a stranger a recommendation? Well, that answer will be answered in the future videos in the strategy section, where we talk about how to get people to become your friend and how to get people to like you and so forth. Photo, you definitely want to choose a professional picture of you. And profile, I said this earlier, but you want to create a profile that answers questions for your target audience. Different target audiences, different industries are different. So you need to understand your industry and you need to understand your audience so that you provide them with the information that they are looking for. So with that said, let's move on to video number 3, and we'll talk about how to create a profile that answers the questions that your target audience and target industry are looking for.